The robots are coming. AI is taking over. You're probably freaking out about your job. You're freaking about what the future is going to entail. Oh my gosh. There's so much stuff that's coming this way, that's coming our way. Well, today we're going to talk about the most important subject that nobody is talking about. I think this is probably the single most important thing that you need to do for yourself to prepare for the future. The most important thing that you can do for your children, if you have them, to prepare them for the future. And again, nobody is talking about it. I don't even know if my guest is aware of how important this is. When AI takes over, when the robots take over, there is one thing and one thing only that's going to help you separate yourself. And that's how you present yourself. That's your manners. That's your decorum. That's how you interface with the world. As we enter into this world of AI, as we enter into this world of filters and all of these great ways that you can fake a resume, in the future, what's going to matter the most? How do you communicate? How do you present yourself? What's your personal brand? Well, today, I'm going to give you all the answers on how you can be a better person, who can prepare your children. And I'll be honest with you, and I hope I don't upset her. I've got the world's greatest manners coach on the world, and I'm just going to say the world of manners, it's probably at an all-time low. If you don't believe me, go to a restaurant and look at these little animal children running around. Nobody knows how to introduce themselves. Children don't have any manners. People are wearing pajamas on planes. It's a disaster. Well, we're going to give you all the answers on how to fix that right now, how you can coach your children right now. And I'm going to introduce you to Kristen DeSanto. She is the world's foremost authority on all things mannered. She's the founder of Modernly Manored. It is the greatest school in the world. She's going to tell you all about it. And hopefully we're going to get some tips. So when the robots do take over, when AI does take over, when all the, I don't know, producer Ben, what do they call it? The catfishing, right? when your face isn't even your face anymore, the currency of the future is your personal brand and how you present yourself. So if you got kids, bring them in. Grab a wonderful, amazing St. James tea. Refresh yourself. We're going to get all the answers. I want to introduce you to Kristen DeSanto. Kristen, thank you. You are making the world a better place, one person at a time. How did you start with Modernly Manored? And before you answer that, do you agree with me a little bit? It's a disaster out there, is it not?
Yes, pretty much. It's a disaster. So it makes my job a little easier. Yeah, I just started out because I had this idea for so many years. Before I got certified, I did go and get certified in 21. And before I did that, I talked to family, I talked to friends, and I said, I really want to do this. I really want to bring manners back because I saw them going by the wayside, essentially, in
It's
so many
terrible.
different areas of our life as I was raising my kids. And then of course, I hate to mention COVID, but when that came up, you walked around with masks. I'm from New
Mhm.
Jersey. I had people pass me by on the street with a mask on when we were all out walking, and you got to the point where you weren't even looking at people in the eye anymore. And
100%.
so kids are not looking at you in the eye when they pass you on the street in my town because they grew up as a little guy, let's say 4 years old in COVID, and they just don't know any other way. They don't know the proper way to look at people in the eye. And eye contact is the absolute number one thing with manners.
Yeah, let's talk about that eye contact a little bit because I want to share my personal story real quick and I want to
Yes.
share the story of my children because my son is right in that age group that you're talking about. He was in first grade when COVID hit. My mother was a single mom. She made $4,000 a year. She couldn't give us a lot as kids, but the one thing that she gave us was yes, sir, no, sir, may I please, yes, please, thank you. I am telling you, Kristen, it's like she wrote me a check for $1 million because even back in the 70s and 80s, my ability to look people in the eye, to smile, yes, please, no, thank you, it opened a lot of doors for me. I'm not going to lie. it opened a lot of doors for me. My children, fast forward to today, I still get comments. Wow, your son Anderson is amazing. I wish my kid was like that. Do you guys want to come over? He's getting invited up to athletes' boxes and doing things that I've never even been able to do in my life, simply because he is respectful, he's mannered, he knows how to shake hands, right? We worked on a handshake together. These are the things, if you guys can work on this, and we've got the world's foremost expert on this right now, trust me, please, just do this for me. If you've ever, we're going to trust Matt, trust Kristen on this. Put this stuff into practice. Kristen will not steer you wrong. You are going to find, I'm not saying months later, I'm not saying years later, I'm not saying weeks later, same day. Start looking people in the eye. Start working on your manners, your personal brand. Life will all of a sudden, little opportunities will rain down on you. First one I would love to get your opinion on is just the simplest of manners, Kristen, and that is, please, thank you, may I please. Can you talk a little bit about where the heck did that go? My wife, if she was here, she would laugh. My bane of my existence when I hear people, let me get off, just demanding that the world gives them stuff. What are some things that you can coach us on? Let's do the eye contact first, and then can you just talk about when you're out and about, whether you're 4 years old, 40 years old, or 104 years old, what are some of these basics that we need to embrace?
Yes, when you just walk up to somebody, to an adult, you say, "Hi, my name is so and so." That's
Mm-hmm.
all you have to say. And then they'll look at you with their eye contact, and then they'll introduce themselves. And then you say, "It's nice to meet you." And then they say, "It's nice to meet you too," hopefully.
Yes.
That's one thing that I teach my kids automatic. That's the first thing we work on is eye contact, and then the handshake. The handshake is only two handshakes. You want to have a firm grip, web to web. This is the web of your hand, web
Okay.
to web. And you want to go two shakes, nothing more. And you want to have a firm handshake. You don't want to have a wimpy handshake, but you don't, I tell my boys, you don't want to have a bone crushing handshake.
I've
So,
noticed that this trend of like the bear claw handshake with dudes, and I do a lot of
yes,
grappling and jujitsu, and I'm like, come on, man, nobody's giving out.
yes,
You don't need to break somebody's hand, but can you walk us through? So the palm, I want my palm to touch their
yes,
palm, correct? Because
yes,
I feel like
yes,
we kind of halfway go in, and then you end up in this awkward, creepy. You're one person's grabbing the other person's fingers.
yes.
So how do I want to think about that as I'm reaching out? Let's say I'm a young lady or a young man, as I'm reaching out to shake that hand. How do I think about getting those palms together?
You just go web to web. You don't even look at your hand. It's just, it comes naturally the more you practice it.
Okay.
And you just go web, you find the web of the other person's hand.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is supposed to use their right hand. So the first thing I teach my kids is show me your right hand. Because I had kids last night that, are 5 and
Yep.
they didn't necessarily know right from left. So we show each other our right hand. We go out, we say, "Hi, my name is," we go web to web, and we do a firm handshake, and we look at each other in the eye. And then we shake twice.
Yeah, when you
And when
say
that,
shake twice, we're not
yes,
saying we're going to shake hands twice. You're saying two, boom, boom, one up and
yes,
down twice,
yes,
correct?
yes,
I love it.
yes.
I love
And
it.
the other thing is you don't want to do the politician unless you really know somebody. So that's called when you put your left hand over your right. If
Okay.
you know somebody really well as a guy,
Uh-huh.
and you see them and you're excited to see them, sometimes your natural reaction is to go put your left hand over the right. It's fine. It's not the best thing, but if it's somebody that's really close to you, your uncle or a good friend, it's totally acceptable. But it's something that we tell the kids not to do,
Yeah.
to just try to keep it, right hand to right hand and two shakes and you're out.
I like that. Focus on the basics. Like in life,
Yes,
if you have the basics down, you don't have to get crazy with it, right?
yes,
Something else, and if I did this wrong, if I coached them wrong, you can tell me. But where I have seen a huge amount of benefit, and nobody is doing this, adults or children, when you introduce your name, I told my son, I'm Anderson Easton, right? Like first and last name. And
Yeah.
it's automatically, people are like, whoa, who is this person? Am I saying they're going to remember your name? If you're talking to me, I'm probably not. I'm bad with names. People are bad at names, but you might as well put it out there. What are your thoughts on first and last name?
I really like first and last name. I don't necessarily teach the kids that when they're pretty young,
Mm-hmm.
but I might actually, now that I'm talking to you, I might add it only because I think it's important. The only thing, like you said, about that is that then you might forget both names if you're
Right.
saying names.
Good point.
So sometimes it's better to just focus on the first name. And then I tell kids, at least this is what I do. I say it 7 times to myself if I really need to remember it.
Oh, that's a
As
good,
far as
you say
I'm so
their
sorry.
name 7 times to
I
yourself.
say yes. I say it 7 times to myself, and
Brilliant.
then it's a guarantee. It could be. Oh gosh, I was just going to say 6 or 7 times.
Yeah.
Um,
Six,
but
seven, six, now
yes,
now
7.
your
I
kids are
know.
the,
Now
yeah.
I'm with too many kids. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, yeah, you do 6 or 7 times. You can say that to yourself, and then you're guaranteed to remember the name, which is
Love it.
great.
Love it. Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody's getting ready to click off. Don't click off. I know why you're clicking off. I can see you. I can read your mind. You're like, this is stuff for the rich people, right? I grew up in the hood. I don't need, this is stuff for you. I don't care what your background is. Even if you can't afford to go to Kristen school, or you can't afford to send your kids to school, show them this, play them this. This is what sets people apart, okay? You're not walking around with your credit score on your forehead, all right? And the clothes, come on, it doesn't mean anything. If you can shake a hand properly, no matter what age you are, if you can look somebody in the eye properly, no matter what age you are, and if you can introduce yourself properly, no matter what age you are, you just elevated yourself beyond all of the socioeconomics, beyond all of the rich grandpa, broke grandpa, and I am telling you this for a fact because I lived it. Okay, I had zero cash as a kid. I had nothing going on. When I introduced myself to people and I shook their hands, all of a sudden they wanted to help me. Guys, gals, pay attention to what Kristen is saying here. Can we talk a little bit about, I think a great way to practice just in life how you present yourself, Kristen, is like, when you're ordering food, I don't care if it's Chipotle, I don't care if it's Chick-fil-A, or I don't care if you're at a 5-star restaurant. Can you talk about some basic manners in asking somebody for something and thanking people? What are some just general basics like that handshake where we can stop going through the world like little heathens and little animals and start presenting ourselves like the wonderful, amazing people that we are?
You know, one of the things that I was thinking about while you were doing the intro was I felt like there was a time where parents were giving their young kids iPads.
Yeah.
I didn't have this when, because my kids are older. We had the Wiki sticks at Carrabba's and
Mm-hmm.
crayons, but then it became the iPad.
Oh, it's going
And
strong, Kristen.
yes,
It
I
is
know,
strong and it's
I know.
horrible.
I know. And the thing about that is I'm not a video game person or anything, but one of my boys is, and I know that once you start to watch something, and even a movie, or you're playing a game, you don't want to look up at the waitress when she comes to the table.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to look up, and I don't care what age you are, and say, "May I please have the chicken nuggets?
Yeah.
Thank you
That
so much."
alone, people will
I mean,
come over from other tables,
yes,
right? And they will be
yes,
like, your children are so well behaved. And you never know where that opportunity, and you had said, hey, on the iPad, watching a movie, watching a show. I just want to give you all a little bit of advice here. You are constantly watching a movie. You are constantly watching a show. It's called your life, and you're the star, okay? If you're in a restaurant, observe what's going on. Pay attention to what's going on. Wonder, have curiosity. I wonder what that person does. I wonder who the owner is in the restaurant here.
that's
You
true.
can play life the same way you play a video game, and you can level up your character it's the littlest of moments, right? A good ordering of food somebody can walk over the table, and the next thing you know, your whole life will change. And it just, Kristen, it breaks my heart. It breaks.
I
I live in Boca
I
Raton,
do.
Florida. It's
Mhm.
super expensive where I live. We're members to a club where a lot of people go on vacation, and one person at that table is probably paying $1,500 for a dinner, and four of the younger people at that table are watching bebop, whatever, 6-7, 6-7, 6-7, and it's like, did you even notice the palm trees? Did you even notice that yacht that went by? Did you even pay attention to what's going on? And did you take this opportunity to practice in the world that you're about to be a part of? And it's crazy to me. May I please? Thank you. It's amazing. The other thing that will happen, I'm just going to say, your food will come out perfect, right? When you treat people with dignity and you treat people with respect, they will do likewise. They will do in kind. People think the world's a bad place. People think everybody's out to get them. Well, maybe it's because you're not presenting yourself right. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. Oh, I absolutely feel that way. I feel, the waitress gets a vibe from you if nobody's looking up at her when she comes to the table,
Mm-hmm.
even the parents, if nobody's looking up and they're just looking at the menu and they're not looking up to order, it's a vibe she's going to get, and she's going to carry that right into the kitchen,
Yeah.
and it's unfortunate, but I see it all the time. And I always tell people, I actually made these modernly mannered cafe menus that
Mm-hmm.
we, after the kids learn table manners, we, for our third and final session, we run through all things manners, table manners, and then we play restaurant. This is for the pretty much the younger kids, the age 4 to 10, I would say.
I wish
And
half their parents would come with them. I'm just saying, but
I know. So many people say that to me.
yeah.
I actually have requests now where I worked with the kids and the parents are like, could you come and we'll just do a wine night? I said, yeah, have everybody bring wine. You guys order in and I'll come up and we'll go through the manners. I had 20 somethings here after Thanksgiving, and they came into the dining room because they wanted to learn. They really wanted to learn. And we just had a good time,
I was
just,
thinking about you a lot
yeah,
at Thanksgiving because I've been
yeah.
following you on social media, and I want you to introduce your social media to everybody. One thing I was focusing on during both our private dinner at Thanksgiving and then when we went out, holding my glass by the stem, right? And I remember you saying that it affects the reason why we do that is it affects the heat in the
Yes.
beverage that you're drinking. For those of you that are like, I could care less, I would shotgun this soda or tea if you're a young person, or I would shotgun this if you're my wife, the wine, right? But
Yes.
it's not even just that; it's how you present yourself. And I really am trying to make. I'm 53 years old, but I'm trying to make some slight adjustments. And I really could tell as I looked around the room who's a skillful person and who's a not skillful person, right? And
Yeah.
it's just
It's
it's
amazing. Yeah.
amazing. Like,
Yeah.
and no disrespect to the Chanels out there, no disrespect to the Gucci's out there, the Louis Vuittons. It's all great. Okay. I've wasted too much money on cars. You can pull up in a Bugatti, but the car goes away, right? There's only so much juice you can get out of a jacket or a handbag or a pair of shoes. I don't want LMVH or whatever these big companies are getting a hitman after me for
Yeah.
saying this. But what's going to give you more status in this world than any outfit, any pair of shoes, any car is listening to the type of stuff that Kristen can train you on and presenting yourself skillfully. Right? You can
Yeah.
have a $4,000 pair of shoes, and if you say "let me get," and don't shake somebody's hand and your paw prints are all over that wine glass, I'm sorry, you look like you don't belong.
Oh, something that just hit me was always stand for an introduction. So
Yes.
let's pretend you're sitting at the dining room table or at a restaurant. Actually, let's go to a restaurant for a
Okay.
moment.
Yep.
And a friend comes by, or the country club, even
Yep.
better. Friend comes by and you just stick out your hand and you say, good to see you, good to see you. No, 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 no. You stand up and you show respect to the person that's entering your space. That's huge.
I
Huge.
I love that, and
Mhm.
I screwed that up. I'm not going to name names. Producer
Oh,
Ben does some He does some pretty amazing podcasts. And I'm just going to say in this area of South Florida, there's a lot of people that come from your area. Okay. Let's just
Yeah.
say that they were in construction. Okay. But not,
Yes,
you know what I'm talking about, right?
I
Some of
do.
them might have a new name like Joe Smith because they're in the witness protection program. I
Oh,
saw that firsthand, and the unskillful person was me. There was a gentleman from New Jersey. I think there's probably some movies starring people about this type of person. Goodfellas, if you know what I'm
I
picking.
do.
And I noticed every other person as this individual kind of stood or at least made an effort to stand. I didn't, Kristen. I was a jackass, right? And it's like immediately I could tell that I'll find him again and we'll make it right. But I
Yes.
automatically could tell that this was somebody who is trained on what you're saying. And I was being disrespectful by not standing when he came and introduced himself to me. And
Yes.
I wish I could go back and redo that moment. I hope when I start my car, it doesn't explode.
Right.
But
Right.
and again, guys, this isn't for your safety. This is also you don't. That person could be the person that offers you a job. And at the very least,
Absolutely.
the most important person is yourself, right? And when you can
Absolutely.
start acting like a Hollywood actor, when you can start acting like the star of your movie will get a lot more interesting. I love that. So let's recap it again. I'm sitting at the table. I'm drinking my wonderful St. James tea. It's just so refreshing. Somebody comes over. I need to get my Turkish out of the chair and stand and walk me through how I do it
And
skillfully.
then what you also do is if you have to get up during the meal
Mm-hmm.
for any reason, you don't say where you're going. You just say, "Excuse me, please." And you take your napkin, you put it on your chair, you push your chair in, you go do whatever you need to do. You come back, you make sure when you come back, because sometimes waiters will put the napkin up on the table,
Yes.
they'll refold it or whatever. So you make sure you take that, you put it back on your lap.
Okay, and
The
when
other
I
thing
put it
I
on
have
the
to teach
chair,
you,
I've been putting it on the back of the chair. Is that correct?
no,
Where do I put? Okay, so I'm messing
put
that
it
one
on
up too.
yeah, put it on the seat of the chair.
Okay, so
Yes,
right where my
yes,
tukish goes.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
do I
Put it on.
fold it a certain way when I put it on the chair?
No, and I'm glad you brought that up because you don't fold it at all. And then you also don't have to refold your napkin when you're leaving the dining table at
Okay.
a restaurant or wherever you are. You just take that napkin, you put it to the left of where your plate would have been, because I'm assuming at that point, they've taken your plate. So just put it where the fork would have been on the left, and you don't have to refold it at all. You just place it there.
Okay.
That's it.
I can be a bit of a messy person. All right.
Oh,
So I noticed something. Give them your social media because guys,
the napkin,
yeah,
the
I
napkin
want to
etiquette.
I want to walk through that, but before we do, because I want to help the whole world here and not just the. By the way, there's going to be a chain of Modernly Mannered here within the next 24 months. You're going to be as big as Amazon. I can feel it. But for those folks that can't send their kids to the school, how can they follow you on social media and pick up some of these tips? And then I want to give you a tip I learned from you that has been life changing for me. But how can people follow you, Kristen? How can they link up with you? How can they link up with Modernly Mannered?
Yes, so on Instagram, I'm Modernly Mannered. Simple as that. TikTok, same thing. And YouTube, same thing. So it's just Modernly Mannered. You just look for that and you
Oh,
can follow me there. And then I post a lot of stories. Uh, and I post, 3 or 4 times a week, I would say. And what I've been noticing is anytime I do an educational reel
mm-hmm.
or post, I get the most people really responding to that.
Because we
Uh,
need it. And for
yeah,
everybody that responds, there's a million that need to start paying attention to this.
yes, yes. You know what we didn't discuss? One thing I want to talk about is
Sure.
posture.
Yeah,
Posture.
I'm working on that right now. That's
I'm
something I'm bad
sitting
at, but I'm trying to fix it.
I'm sitting in a very low chair,
Me too.
but what we actually my ninth grade, well, he was an eighth grader at the time. He was my little intern. He's now a senior in high school and he is applying to colleges, which is so fabulous. Um, but he taught me this in one of our first country club classes. So you sit up to the back of your seat
Okay.
and you go up with your shoulders, back with your shoulders, and down
Okay.
up, and I make them repeat that
Up,
up,
back,
back, and down.
down.
And I tell them that when you're in school, you should sit like that or try to sit as close to that as possible. Obviously, when you're at a restaurant, country club, any type of a place where you're in public, even when you're standing, always show good posture. Obviously, when you're home doing your homework or you're watching TV, you're not going to sit with great posture. It's fine. Oh, but one thing that's just hitting me as I'm saying that is, let's pretend you're hanging out on the couch
Yep.
and your one of your friends, adult friends, comes over. You as a child should get up off the couch, and you as an adult should get up off the couch and greet the person that's coming into the house. You shouldn't just wave from the family room couch and say, hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Mom, make me
You're
some
an adult.
meatloaf.
Yes,
None of
yes,
that.
yes. And listen, I have a lot of it. I'm married to an Italian. I have a lot of it. All my friends are Italian. Like we are unbelievable. Well, they are unbelievable cooks. I don't think that that's the first thing they think about is table manners. They think about the food.
Yeah.
I think about the presentation. So it's kind of, you have to combine both. You really, and also we haven't touched on this either, appearance.
Yeah.
We have to get the hair out of our faces. We have to, whatever it is, you've got to work on your appearance. It's so important. And having a
Yeah.
confidence.
And I want to touch on that because that's
Yeah.
something that before, I don't know what's changed, but even when I was a broke kid, like I had one pair of Nike shoes, I was cleaning them, I was polishing them. I learned to iron my pants at a very young, no matter what, when I was going to school, I was working on my appearance and I was working on presenting myself. I didn't know if at the time that would be the day. Zora Andrich was her name. She was on this show, Joe Millionaire, later. She probably doesn't even know it, but I would ride my bike by her house every day. Thank God she never talked to me because I wouldn't have met my wife, Heather. But I never knew, would this be the day that she would talk to me? By the way, that day never came. However, though, I worked on my appearance every day. I tried to make myself presentable. You do not need to be wealthy to
No.
tuck in your shirt. You do not need to be wealthy to iron your slacks. You do not need to be wealthy to check and see if you have a booger hanging out of your nose or to comb your freaking hair. Stop going to the airport, people, in your pajamas with your bed head and your pillow on your neck and then complaining that the staff on that aircraft is rude. Right? You didn't even show enough respect to fix your appearance. I'm not saying this to take anybody to task here or to beat them up. I'm saying this because that airplane flight could be the moment that you sit next to somebody who's like, hey, you're into cooking? I own a restaurant in,
Absolutely.
Brooklyn. Do you want to come by? And the next thing you know, you're the next, Iron Chef contestant because you presented yourself well in those moments. Life is not going to tell you today is the day that you need to comb your hair. It's going to give you opportunities and they're going to fly right over your head if you're not prepared for them.
Yes, yeah. I had little kids here yesterday who are lovely. I love them. They came for summer camp this summer, and then their mom brought them back, all three kids, to work with me again, which I think is so amazing because I just tell people the more you come, the more you're going to get out of it, especially at a young age. But they had hair in their face, the little boy had hair in his face. And I said, well, you got to take the hair out of your face. And then one of the little girls who's 8, she was kind of talking to me, but she was talking to me, answering me with the hair in her face. And I couldn't see the side of her or see the front of her, and that she wasn't showing me good eye contact. But she had something important to say.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, Clara, you've got to look up at me and say that again and take the hair, push the hair back. I don't care what you do with it, get it out of your face. So it's really, it's fun teaching kids that because it's just so appearance. I can't say enough about appearance. I was just telling my kids, I get teased because I put mascara on and I usually have a blowout and I go to work out every single day and I get teased by the instructors, but it's just, I guess my mom did it, so that's what I do. And I
It's
just think
important. You have
it's a
one
better way to go.
you have one life to live, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. None of us knows definitively what happens after this. I have a feeling we're not going to get a second chance. This day that you're going to work out, This is your time. Present yourself well. In movies, nobody's walking around with boogers out of their nose. If they are, they're what my son would say an NPC, right? They're a non-player character, or whatever that means. Guys, you don't have to spend a lot of money to take pride in your
Not at
appearance.
all. Not at all. I mean, something about appearance and clothing. Well, I was in the fashion industry for many years, but what I do, because I raised two boys, I go to Target, to Goodfellow. They have a fabulous brand at Target,
Mm-hmm.
and I get them all their stuff at Target, essentially. Anything that I'll bring it home and see if they like it. Sweaters, pants, everything. And they're all knockoffs of the good stuff.
Brilliant.
So why not do it?
Yeah,
It
and if
doesn't
you
cost.
act, it does not matter the cost of your wardrobe. If you present yourself well and you act as if, good things will happen. I learned this very early on, and this is not just our personal life, everybody. This is your career, right? When you show up to work presentable, when you show up to work with your hair out of your face, when you know how to look people in the eye, when you have a great attitude, you will get latitude. You'll get latitude from your customers. You'll get latitude from your boss. You'll get latitude in terms of opportunities, in terms of promotions, right? It's these little moments where people are engaging you, whether it's your boss or your server or somebody else at the next table, that they're creating a dossier on you and figuring out, is this person a go-getter? Is this somebody worth talking to? Is this somebody worth promoting? And as my mother used to say millions of times, Matthew, life isn't fair. I'm sorry, guys. Life isn't fair. It's not ever going to be fair. AI is coming. The robots are coming. All of this stuff is going to happen out there online. But if you can look somebody in the eye, you can fix your clothing, you can make yourself presentable, you are going to stand out and the opportunities will come. If you do this right now, if you start following Kristen and you put some of this stuff into practice, even if you are broke and it's a junk restaurant, put this into practice. I promise you this, good things will start happening for you. It will be like magic. I will allow you to fly to Boca Raton, Florida, and punch me directly in the face if good things do not happen for you when you start taking note of your appearance, your posture, and your manners.
Yes, totally agree. And what if you're going out for a business dinner as a 20-something
Oh,
and you're just
boy, we
starting out
mess
your
that up,
career
don't we?
and,
The business
and you're,
dinners?
oh man, and you're with guys in their 40s and 50s, your bosses essentially, or
Mm-hmm.
you're taking clients out. You're lucky enough to be in your 20s and you're taking clients out. What are you going to look like if you have bad manners and your elbows are all over the table and you use the sauce, like I see a lot of kids take the steak and mash it into the sauce and then the sauce is all over the plate. No, just you've got to have some sort of decorum, especially if you're out on a business dinner, or what if you're out on a date?
Oh
That
my
too.
goodness. Yeah, and
That
it's incredible. I'll share a business story with you. I'm not going to say the person's name because I don't want to get sued or anything.
yes,
But this
yes.
must have cost this person at least, and I'm being very generous and conservative on making this number low, $20 million. I was working at a technology company. There was another company that was like, "Oh, this guy is so amazing at sales. We need," and I didn't want to leave the job that I had. This company was selling. I'll say what they were selling. It was surveillance equipment for other companies, big, very expensive stuff. They somehow convinced me over the phone to go work for them. There was another company that in that same one of their competitors that wanted me to work for them. I flew to the city. It was Los Angeles. I don't want to say any more because I don't want to get myself in trouble. I went out to lunch with the CEO. Okay, first strike. I was well presented. I had a sport coat and slacks on. I didn't have a tie. It was LA, right? And we went out to lunch. He shows up. He's got a dirty, wrinkly T-shirt. He's like, I just got out of the gym, but he had to keep repeating how wealthy he was. Like, I'm not impressed how wealthy you are. Come on, we'll take my car. It's the brand new Audi S8. It's awesome. I'm so rich. And like he's trying to impress me with that. Here's where it went horribly wrong for him for the tune of $20 million. I'm wearing a sport coat. He's wearing a messy T-shirt. He didn't get the table that he wanted at the restaurant for lunch. Why should he? He looked like he just rolled out of the gym and had a stain on his shirt. And then he started berating the staff. And at one point, and my wife will back me up on this, at one point he told the person coming over, I make more in a day than you make in a year. You better get our food over here fast. I was polite. I was respectful. I could not wait to get to my hotel. I called my wife. I'm like, I cannot work for this person.
No.
I'm out. and I called the competitor. And what this person didn't know is I spend my whole life in sales. I had already had 4 massive accounts lined up that I was going to bring to his company.
Yes.
And him
Yes.
being rude to that person, I'm sorry, my first job was a dishwasher at the Mockingbird Inn. My next job was a busboy, if they still call them that, at a country club. And when he brought that up, I felt the pain that that person felt that was clearing our table. And I'm like, I will not work with this person. I will not help this person. I will not take their calls. I don't care. You know, if I never get paid for the 1 week I've been on the job, I am out. Guys, when you don't treat people with dignity and respect and you don't present yourself well, you don't understand they are talking about you behind your back, or worse. They're not even talking about you. They're writing you off. It's the little things. It's manners. It's being polite. It's being courteous that the next thing you know, the world is going to lay out opportunities for you.
Absolutely. You're reminding me of maybe that's why I got into this business, is because I worked in the garment center for many years, and in the 90s, and it was beyond. And my bosses, and it was my bosses that particularly had the worst manners,
Yeah.
and no respect level to the employees, and no manners at the table, and yet they were millionaires.
Yeah.
And it was just unbelievable. And we had to entertain clients all the time. And it was unbelievable what I saw. So that might have, I've never thought about it, but that might have been one of the
The,
reasons that I got into
the,
the
the
business.
bar is low. The bar is low.
Yes,
And
the
no
bar is low.
disrespect to all these companies that are like, we're going to focus on our corporate culture and we're going to focus on team building events. The best thing that you can do if you run a business is find a Kristen DeSanto out there and train yourself. And if you would like, train your people, and it will eclipse every other initiative that you have in your company and you're not going to win everybody over, but when most people are courteous and respectful and think about other people first, it's amazing how not only you, but your entire organization and your company will go through the roof.
Yes, yes. It's funny. I had a 20-something that I mentioned here this weekend. And when I said, okay, let's just run through the table manners, he said, I can't do table manners because I'm a lefty. And I said, well, yes, you can. And he went to grab the fork like like a scooping method,
Yeah.
which I talked to all the kids about not doing. So you don't go here and you don't go here. You have to hold the fork like a pencil
Okay.
or a marker. When the kids are little, we have placemats and we color the placemats.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's a whole formal dining art creative thing. And so they would color the placemats and put their name at the top. And I say, when you're writing your name at the top, remember that. Because when we do table manners, that's the way I want you to hold the fork. And it really works. And sometimes I have to bring the marker back out
Yeah.
once we do table manners to put it in the marker in their hands and then the fork in their hands. And then they realize, okay, this is the way. And then I'll catch them going back if they actually have dinner here, because I do a lot of dining classes as well. They will automatically go back to the old ways if I'm not watching them. So you just have to constantly stay on it, constantly stay on it. Now, so I taught the boy that I was mentioning, I taught him continental style, where you leave the fork in your left hand.
Okay.
Because I feel
And then
like
I'm cutting with the knife in my right.
right.
Okay.
Yes, and you're keeping the knife in your right hand
So that's
the
actually
entire
easier for
time.
him, because then it's
It is.
almost like his fork
Yes.
is in his right hand if he's a righty.
Yes.
He's cheating the
Yes.
system in
So
continental.
he has the fork in his left hand, and then all he has to do is tines down, go up and eat, tines down, and then he's using the knife in his right hand as a pusher to get the food onto the fork and then eat it. And then if he wants to take a rest, then resting position would be the fork over the knife and it's kind of an X at the bottom of the plate. So you're not switching hands. So for a lefty, it kind of works out better. And a lot of people just prefer continental style. I'm an American style, but that's just
Okay, can
me.
you walk us through and when you say tines down, that means the curvature of the fork. The
Yes,
fork is what you would think in your head is, I'm just going to say upside down, correct?
Yes, that's
Okay.
right.
So, and
Yeah.
continental style is my fork is arcing down, almost like if I'm setting it upside down the table. My fork is in my left hand. My
Yes.
knife is in my right hand. I'm cutting, and then I'm taking a bite with the fork with the tines down into my mouth. Yes?
And you're using the knife. The reason the knife stays in your right hand is because you need the knife to get the food onto the fork
I'm
and then
pushing
bring
it
it
onto the
down.
fork.
Yes,
Okay.
putting it, call the knife a pusher,
Okay.
essentially.
All
And
right.
so really, if you go to other countries, that's really the way, that's the style that they use primarily.
Okay.
And so they never really put their knife down until they're finished with the meal.
Okay.
And then, but if they did want to do it, I suggest they do put it down. If they have food in their mouth, put it down so you're not, I always tell the kids, so you're not conducting the orchestra with your utensils.
Yeah.
So I say, put the knife down on the plate, Chris, and then the fork over it and kind of exit at the bottom of your plate. That would be, I'm resting while food is in your mouth,
Yep.
continental style. And then finished, when you're finished and you want to show the waiter that they can take your plate, you just pretend that the plate is a clock and you put the,
Oh, can I guess before you say, and you can tell me if I'm
yes,
wrong?
yes.
I'm gonna mess it up, but I do both pieces of silverware pointing at 11 o'clock. Am I wrong? I messed it up. Yeah. No.
Yes, so the top of the handle is pointing to 10 or 11, yes, and
Okay.
the handles are at between 4 and 5. So yes,
And that
that's it.
shows that I'm done with my meal.
Yes, and you don't want to put, I tell a lot of my boys this because you don't want to put your, if you're at a big crowded table of more than 4 people, let's say, you don't want to put your utensils, even if you're a fast eater, you don't want to put your utensils in, I'm finished until you see more than half of the people might be finished, even if they haven't placed their utensils properly. Just if you feel like everybody's done, then you put your utensils in, I'm finished, because you don't want to rush people along. And you don't want to feel like they have to eat them to feel like they have to eat faster.
That's
So,
something that the service industry started doing over the last, and I don't know why, but, and maybe I'm just a stickler here, but it really annoys me, is they'll start clearing when the first person is done. And I feel really bad because there's like, my wife takes her time with her food. My son can eat 7 courses in 7 seconds. And it's really awkward when things get cleared and now you have somebody, they're the only person left with food at the table. And I feel bad for that person because I feel like all the focus is on them and it's, you know, everybody's like watching them eat. I don't know
yes,
why restaurants are taking stuff
no.
away.
And you know what's crazy, Matt, is that the restaurants are not even, the staff is not even being trained
You need a course for that too.
if I'm finished, because I tell you, every time I put my utensils that I'm finished, they still ask me, can I take your plate?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course you can take my plate because I mean, I'm finished.
You use
But
the
they
universal
don't
signal.
even, I've noticed it at very high-end steak restaurants,
Me
and
too.
they have no idea.
Me too.
No idea.
Because I
They
make
need it.
mistakes. Kristen, can you walk through just, and I realize they're not going to have their black belt in manners. They need to go to the school
Yes.
for that. They need to follow Modernly Mannered it's Modernly Mannered with a D,
Yes.
correct? Not ers. Okay, they need to follow Modernly Mannered, but just really, really basic, like for those people that want to start right now today or start working with their kids right now today, can you kind of walk through, and maybe I haven't messed up, but like even if you don't know all of the rules, continental American style, maybe go from the outside in. What are some basic stuff? Before you do, though, I remembered my napkin trick I learned from you
Oh, yay.
for messy eaters, and maybe I'll get it wrong. You can correct me, especially if you're eating the chicken wings and you got the sauce. You told me fold my linen napkin on my lap, and then you told me if I need to wipe my face, I'm going to do it on the inside of the napkin so that the goop is not on the outside, which by the way, I'm wearing some white slacks today, cream colored slacks today. Wish you would have told me that a while back because I put the messy napkin on my lap. Now I got a nice pair of white chinos with a little bit of art on them with some barbecue sauce that won't go away. Can you walk us through that little napkin trick? It's these little
Yes, the
things.
napkin trick is so much fun. So you take the napkin and no matter how it's folded, wherever you are, you open it up in half. I should have one on me, but I don't have one. You open it in half, and then the crease goes at your belly button.
Okay.
And the only happening goes away from you. So when you feel like you have something on your face, you take the left or the right corner, I don't care which corner it is, whatever's easier for you. Take the left corner up and take the top up and then bring it up to your face and wipe on the inside of the napkin and then put it back down. And then that way, especially I find with women, as you get older and you
Lipstick and all that.
wear lipstick. I mean, I was sitting next to a friend recently, and no names. I looked down, and we never even talk about when I'm with my friends. We really don't talk about table manners or anything. But I looked down, and I saw the messiest white napkin I've ever seen in my entire life, and it was mostly because of the lipstick.
Yeah.
So it's so easy to just try, and you can't do it all the time. It's very hard to do the whole meal that way. But if you can do half the meal that way, maybe the beginning of the meal that way, it's just going to look nicer. And then, I say for the wait staff, then they don't get as grossed out,
Yeah,
just,
and I, as a
yeah,
dishwasher, I mean,
yes.
that was my first job. Guys, there are people back there. I want to talk about the outside in, but also
Oh,
you
yes.
just gave me some PTSD on something. Um, what is with these families? And this is not anything with economics, because I see broke families doing this. I see billionaire families doing. I don't know what their credit score is, but they look really rich. There, it looks like a bomb went off when they left the table. Like, come on, guys. Like, can you just not throw food everywhere? Like, I don't think they
Oh,
realize how they're making themselves look horrible and how they're training their children. The world is going to punish those kids at some point when mom and dad aren't there to pick up the check, when mom and dad aren't there for a work lunch or a work interview. They're going to have somebody like Matt Easton at the table that sees that they're rude and they throw their food around and they're wearing a stained shirt that's like, I think I'm going to go bring my business over to the competition. Is this new? Is it worse now? Kristen, what are your thoughts on this, where it's like it requires a hazmat cleanup crew to clean up for 4 people?
absolutely, absolutely. It happens to me all the time. And that's one thing I talk to the kids about, especially at my house or if we're at country clubs doing a class. I say, okay, guys, look around. I don't want to see the food from your plate on my tablecloth. I
Mm-hmm.
just, and I certainly don't want to see it on the ground because, oh my gosh, there was one time that I quickly, after the kids left, there was brownie because I always do a brownie
Yep.
sundae. I try to tell them that when you have a brownie sundae, you use a fork, not a spoon. And that's a whole nother subject. But so there was cake all over the sisal rug. And I said, oh my God, I literally dove down to the rug because my husband always comes down to help
Yeah.
after kids leave. And I knew he was going to come down within like 1 minute. And I said, I have got to get this cake or brownie off the carpeting before he comes down because it looked like a bomb had hit. It
A
really
hundred
looked like,
percent.
yes.
100%.
And you don't want the bomb to be in the dining room and in the kitchen, but basically, let's go to roll etiquette for a minute. I'm
Okay.
I'm jumping all over, but etiquette is huge. So, you know how you get bread or rolls and sometimes you have a bread plate, sometimes you don't. You want to take the roll and you want to just tear off a small piece of that roll and butter that individual bite and take a bite, take little bites of the roll until the roll is gone. And you want to keep your bread knife, if you have one, at the top of the plate, of the bread plate. And when you're breaking the bread, which goes back to the messy part, when you're breaking the bread, do it. If you can't reach the bread plate, let's do it on top of the main dining plate. Let's not get crumbs
All over your lap.
because not even over the lap, it gets all over the table, and the nice tablecloth. So it just looks really, really bad. And if you have that as a combination with red sauce or oil, from the penne and broccoli, it's just a
It's
disaster. So
gross. Yeah.
yes, so the bread etiquette is huge because kids just want to take the whole bread, they want to take the whole roll and they want to butter the whole roll and stuff it in their mouth. And you want to just take small bites off and butter each bite at a time.
Okay. So we've got a few minutes left. I
Yes.
want them to go to Modernly Manored. If you're in New Jersey, go visit the school. Start following Kristen. She's amazing. But for those folks that want to start today, I realize they're not going to be perfect. Can you give us just a 30,000 foot flyby? If I don't know what the heck I'm doing, I'm a broke kid with a single mom that makes $4,000 a year. I find myself at a restaurant. I find myself with a table. It's the first time I've ever seen plates that weren't made of paper. What's just kind of a general thing, Kristen? Do I work from the outside in? What do I do to not look like an idiot?
Okay, the first thing that you want to do is under the table, you don't want to show anybody that you're making it, but you make a B with your left hand
Okay.
and a D with your right.
Okay.
And if you look down at your table setting, B will stand for bread plate and D will stand for drink.
Where were you 20 years ago?
You're going to know that your bread plate is always on the left.
I still get messed up with. Now I'm never going to get messed up with this.
I know, now you never will.
So I'm not going to start drinking somebody else's water because I know my D is right there. So this amazing St. James, it's by my D, right? Because here's my D. Oh my goodness.
It's on the right.
You need to send me a bill.
Yeah, B and D is huge. And then obviously, and then if you see two forks on the left, a smaller one and then a larger one, the smaller one is always for the appetizer or the salad.
Okay.
That's your salad fork. And then you go into your lunch fork or your dinner fork. Then you go to the plate. So I'm going from the left to the right. Then you have the plate in the center. Another thing you can also remember is BMW, the car, BMW.
Yeah.
Bread, meal, water. So bread on the left, meal in the middle, water on the right. That's another way to think of it if you're
Love
a
it.
car guy. And then you go, once you are looking at the plate, you go to the right of the plate, you've got your knife there. Sometimes what they'll do is they'll take the knife, if you ordered steak, they'll take the regular table knife up and they'll give you a steak knife. And then you'll have, you might have a spoon there, or you might not. If you see a larger spoon there, that would mean that you're having a soup course.
Okay.
Which that's a whole nother thing that I just posted about was how to eat soup properly. And then you're also, and this is only for a formal place setting, you're going to see a fork and a spoon at the top of your plate, and you're going to wonder what's going on here. That's for dessert.
Okay.
So I tell the kids after the big plate is taken and we're about to have the dessert course, you take your left hand on the handle of the fork and your right hand on the handle of the spoon, and you go 1, 2, 3, and you bring it down. So you're ready to have your brownie sundae. And
so cool.
And then with brownie sundaes or apple pie, anything that's served with ice cream, you want to use a fork. If you're just having an ice cream sundae without a brownie or
wait, go back. I think so you just use the fork. Say that again with the ice cream, because I think you just blew a lot of people's minds.
I know I did, because it blows. I ask everybody, what utensil do you think you should use if you get
giant spoon, the giant spoons for the ice cream, Kristen.
Yes. Oh no, it's bad. It's bad. The things I see. So you always, whenever you have a brownie or cake with ice cream, you're going to use a fork.
For both. For both.
You don't even use the spoon. Don't even use the spoon.
So the little spoon, would that just be for stirring my coffee or my tea?
You could use it as a teaspoon. Yes.
Okay.
For stirring your coffee or tea, putting sugar in and all that. Which is a separate episode. But basically, you're gonna use a fork and you're gonna hold it like a pencil, and you're gonna enjoy your brownie sundae or your cake and ice cream. But and the other thing is, you don't, because a lot of kids want to get lap up every last lick of the ice cream, and it's melted and it looks like a disaster.
And then you hear this ding, 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 and they're shoveling stuff in their face.
Don't do it.
Let it go. We're gonna let those drops go.
Let it go.
There'll be more ice cream. You'll get invited to another dinner. There'll be more.
Yes.
They will be more. And by the way, with all this stuff that the amazing, the wonderful, the great, the powerful Kristen DeSanto just told you guys, you're not going to starve to death. Nobody has ever starved to death by tearing their bread properly. Nobody has ever died, not once. Okay, has a person died because they didn't lap up all of their drops of ice cream? This is a movie. It's called Life. Life. You are the star. You don't have to have a lot of money to act like you are the star. follow this stuff. Follow Kristen. Go
Yes.
through these little things. I screwed up. Shout out to the amazing Boca Raton Resort. I'm not afraid to embarrass myself. I screwed up. They had a brand new restaurant on the beach. It's amazing. It's wonderful. They brought in a brand new chef. I screwed up. I did the big fork on my salad. They were so classy about it. Kristen, my wife, was like, oh, God. She was like, this heathen. Like, she's like, I ate my salad. They came and this is where they, very few restaurants understand how to do this. They were so classy about it. They didn't correct me or anything. They just brought a new dinner fork when I set it down. It kind of like just gave me a little nudge,
Yes.
like, here's the right fork for that. They were so classy about it, and they didn't make me feel embarrassed. But these are all things that even when you're trying to work on them, we have to kind of work on to get better.
Yes, yes, definitely. And if you drop a utensil
Yeah,
and
what do we
you
do
don't
if we
pick
drop
right,
it, right? What if we...
well, your instinct is to pick it up because you think the waiter's going to trip on it or whatever. Maybe you could move it with your foot so that it's not in the middle of the aisle.
Okay.
But you never pick it up at a restaurant or a club or any place outside
Do
your
I
home.
alert them or anything? Do I say anything? What do
Yeah,
I
then
do?
just kind of when you're asking for the bill, you kind of try to alert the waiter and say, I just need another fork if you don't mind, or another knife. And they completely understand.
Okay, I'm gonna give them a Matt Easton trick on that one. This is out of my sales training, but just a little Matt Easton life trick for you. If you're like, oh, they're not gonna listen to me, they're not gonna pay attention to me, they're rude, these servers are rude. No, they're not. Have them come over, and if you want somebody to come to your rescue, I like to use the word embarrassed. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. The minute you say I'm embarrassed, right? I'm so embarrassed I dropped my fork. Oh, no problem. Let me get you another one, right?
like
And
that.
people come to your rescue when you say you're embarrassed. We're just too cool for school, right? We're gonna wear our dirty shirt. We're gonna yell at people. We're gonna act like a slob, and then we wonder why life treats us really bad. But I just learned something new there. Don't pick your utensil up if you drop it. Alert them. If you need to, say you're embarrassed or not, I don't know, but that generally works for me. Let them bring you a new utensil, correct?
Yes, that's correct. And
Love
then
it.
at home, I tell them it's the 3-second rule, the 5-second rule. They can pick it back up at
Okay.
home.
Okay.
But yeah, out and about, do not pick it up.
I love it. Kristen DeSanto, you are amazing. You have been super helpful. I want to throw one last little tip in here, guys. If this whole tipping culture has got you down, if you're like, I'm tipping for everything now, let me give you a tip that you can do too. Just be polite to people. Be pleasant to people. Look your host in the eye. Say thank you. It's better than giving them $20. I'm not saying don't tip your staff at a restaurant, but people forget to be nice to people, treat people with dignity and respect, smile, make eye contact, shake their hand, let them know it was wonderful. If you enjoyed your meal, let the person know this was fantastic. Thank you so much for having us. You'll find that you'll get a table at that restaurant, maybe even when they're totally booked. It's amazing when you have manners like Kristen teaches, how all of a sudden you become lucky. There's no such thing as luck. It's you presenting yourself to the world. Kristen, you are amazing. Will you remind everybody again one more time how they can find you, how they can find the school, how they can send their kids to the school, how they can start following you on social media?
Yes, I would say Instagram is definitely the best.
Okay.
Look for me at Modernly Manored, and that's it. That's
Awesome.
it. And TikTok and all of the above, but Instagram's the best.
There's going to be two things when AI takes over that are going to separate everybody from everybody else. Number one, beachfront property, right? Because AI can't do that. You're going to own the real estate. You're on the beach. Great. You're winning. The other thing that's going to make you win even more than that, being polite, having manners, being skillful, treating the world with dignity and respect, and being conscious of your appearance and your manners. That is the currency of the future, everybody. Follow Kristen. Get better. You don't have to be perfect, but you can make an effort to be better each and every time you go out, each and every time you introduce yourself to somebody. Your world will change. If it doesn't, fly to Florida. I will allow you to punch me directly in the face because it will. Kristen, thank you so much for being a guest on All the Answers. Thank you for giving us all the answers, and thank you for improving the world one life at a time. It's amazing the work you're doing, and I really appreciate it.
I really appreciate you having me. I loved it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.